everybody, Samantha here, back with another video. Welcome if you are new here. Thank you very much for checking out my channel. And if you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you very much for your continued support. I'm really happy to announce that this channel has almost reached 100 subscribers. So I'm very excited about that, and once we do reach 100, I will be doing a little bit of a giveaway. So stay tuned for a future video discussing the giveaway. Alright guys, well in today's video I will be building a bioactive vivarium. If you did not see my last video, at the end I did give you guys a little bit of a hint about which animal it will be for. And the hint was that this vivarium will be more of a desert theme. So here is your answer, and this bioactive vivarium will be for my leopard gecko Penelope. Later on in the video I will be discussing why I did choose to go bioactive for her and why I did it so soon. But I actually did get this kit from the Bio Dude. This is a non-sponsored video. But I just wanted to mention his species-specific bioactive kits just because they do come with a lot of good stuff and they're really easy to put together and set up. This will be my first time building one, but I did actually do the build before I filmed this intro, so I do know the instructions are really nice to follow. Alright, well I'm really excited to share this build with you guys, so let's get right to it.
First, I'm starting by putting in the substrate. Now I am just using the substrate that came with this bioactive kit, and it's called Terra Sahara by the Bio Dude. It's specifically made for your desert dwelling species. You don't need a drainage layer with this substrate. It's very dense, and once you wet the substrate and mix the water throughout the substrate itself, your middle layer will stay nice and humid for your cleanup crew as well as your reptile to help with any shedding issues. But the top layer should stay nice and dry so your ambient humidity in the tank itself doesn't get too high. Now this will be really good for your plants so that they can develop nice healthy root systems. And it will also help your reptile because they may exhibit some burrowing behavior, and this is so they can choose their own humidity gradients within the vivarium. This should help with any shedding issues. Now I will be using BioShot, which is a supplement of beneficial microorganisms and nutrients for bioactive vivaria. I will be mixing sphagnum moss all throughout the substrate. I will be adding reverse osmosis water directly into the bag so that I can make my moss nice and wet but not dripping. And then as I'm mixing it throughout the substrate, this will help create some nice humidity pockets in the substrate itself for the roots of the plants as well as your reptile. Sphagnum moss is also a very nice biodegradable to add to your bioactive vivarium. Now as you can see, I'm leaving the sphagnum moss very condensed in the left side of the enclosure, and this is because this is where I'm going to be putting her humid hide. Now it's time for the part that I've been looking forward to the most, decorating. I'm really excited to set this up very naturalistic for Penelope. Now this kit came with 3 nice cork flats as well as 3 succulent plants. This will vary depending on your tank size. This kit was specifically for a 20-gallon lung. Now as you can see, I'm using her cork bark flats as hides. So on the right side of the enclosure will be her warm hide. The left side is where her humid hide will be, and it will also provide a nice cool area for her. I've always liked putting the humid hides more on the cool side of the enclosure. Her cave in the middle will also act as a cooler hide. There won't be as much humidity in there as well. It's the whole reason why I condensed so much moss to the left side of the enclosure, because that's where her humid hide is, and I will be misting that moss a little bit more heavily than the rest of the enclosure in the mornings. To maintain the humidity within the substrate, I will be misting once a day each morning. Now this will also give Penelope a nice chance to lick up the dew-like water droplets that will be on her plants, so this will also help with her hydration. Even with misting once a day, her humidity should never get above 40% or so, just because throughout the day the top of the substrate layer will dry. But this will help to maintain the needed humidity within the substrate for the plants as well as her cleanup crew. Now I absolutely love succulents. They're one of my favorite plants. These types of plants would never work in a tropical setup, but it will be perfect for Penelope. This was the reason why I was so excited to set up a desert-themed enclosure. It'll be amazing to see how they grow within the vivarium, and I'll be able to add some more succulents later on. Now this is what the vivarium looks like, all decorated and planted. And of course, I've added a water dish. For our cleanup crew, I will be adding mealworms, their pupa, as well as darkling beetles, and also springtails and isopods. Hopefully these mealworms burrow into the substrate away from Penelope, become darkling beetles, and start to breed. This will act as a great prey source for Penelope. I will also still be feeding her in a dish with some dusted insects, but this way she gets a lot of enrichment and they will also act as a helpful cleanup crew. I added some RO water to my springtail culture and now I'm pouring those little guys in. They'll most likely live in the humid layer of the substrate. Now it's time to add some leaf litter. I will be using 2 different types of leaves just to give it more of a natural look. But your leaf litter acts as a nice home for your springtails, hiding grounds for your mealworms as well as all your other cleanup crew. And it'll also act as a nice biodegradable within the vivarium for your cleanup crew to feed on. Also, as your cork bark pieces, leaf litter, and mosses biodegrade, it will give nutrients to your plants. For lighting, I will be using UVB. I'll be using Arcadia's 7% UVB Shade Dweller T5, and also the planted lighting that comes with the bioactive kit. I believe that UVB is always beneficial to a reptile, even your shade dwellers. So of course Penelope is a nocturnal species of gecko, but I feel like I've given her nice sufficient places to get away from the lighting as well as the UVB. The lights will also give her a very nice day and night cycle. let's talk about why I ended up doing this for Penelope. So she's actually been having some pretty bad shedding issues on the tips of her toes as well as her tail. Unfortunately, she ended up losing the tip of her tail recently due to a bad shed. It just did not seem like her soaks or humidity baths were helping. So it's all healed up now, and I want to make sure that that does not ever happen again, and I really want to help the shed come off of the tips of her toes. So she has never really enjoyed going into her humid hide. She always waited for her moss to dry out before even going in there. So I'm hoping that this enclosure gives her a lot of different humidity options to help with her shedding issues. But this is kind of a little bit of an experiment just to see if it does help with that. Plus, I absolutely love giving my animals more of a naturalistic setup so that I could see the other behaviors that they would exhibit in the wild. So far, Penelope has been in her new enclosure for a week, and it's been going absolutely amazing. I'm really surprised to see how well the heat has been distributed throughout her warm hide and substrate, with the heat mat being on the back side of the enclosure. This is what the enclosure looks like after a week. Obviously, there's no crazy growth that's happening just because it has not been that long, but so far, so good, and I'm really excited to see how the plants grow in. So far, it does seem like this new enclosure has been helping with her shedding issues. It seems like the shed that has been on the tips of her toes recently has been loosening up quite a bit. I have actually seen some of it come off, which I'm really happy about. I'm going to see if it continues to come off, and if not, I will have to soak her, but overall, she's progressing very well.
Alright everybody, that's everything for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed getting to see me build Penelope's new bioactive vivarium. It was definitely a very fun process, and I'm really happy with how it has progressed so far. Especially seeing Penelope exhibit some new behaviors that I did not get to see in her previous enclosure. It has been very interesting to see how she actually reacts to being in a more naturalistic setup. And I'm really happy with how it has actually been helping her shedding issues. The shed that was previously on her toes seems to be loosening up quite a bit, so I'm really happy to see how she has progressed in this enclosure so far. Alright, well, if you guys would like to stay more updated on Penelope, definitely follow me on Instagram. I've been posting about her very frequently. My Instagram is Callie's Creatures. And if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like, as well as subscribe if you haven't already. I would definitely love to have you guys. Alright, well, I hope everybody has a beautiful day. Bye!